Canada, China. Our countries are linked in ways that make us more than just partners for trade. Decades of collaboration in areas of health, education, and law underpin a relationship with flourishing economic ties. Aside from being our second largest trading partner, China is Canada's fastest growing source market for international students and third largest source of tourists. As people flow between and within our borders, so too do ideas, cultural exchanges, and commercial relationships that contribute immeasurably to our shared prosperity. So how did we get here, and what role did the Canada-China Business Council play in strengthening relationships over 4 decades? In 1970, Prime Minister Pierre Elliott Trudeau made Canada the first major country to diplomatically recognize the People's Republic of China. As China began to open, amidst reforms initiated by Deng Xiaoping, from 1978, forward-thinking Canadians set to work on building a robust bilateral business environment. Under our original banner, the Canada-China Trade Council, CCBC, was formally established on June 1, 1978, and led its first mission to China in October that year. As we turn the page on the 70s, CCBC rode into a new decade, full of hope and symbolism. On July 1, 1980, Canada officially adopted O Canada as our national anthem. That same year, the Council opened its first office in China, in room 7019 of the Beijing Hotel. These humble beginnings called to mind the words of then Chinese Ambassador to Canada, Wang Dong, who reminded us that a 1,000-mile march starts from the first step. Canada's early foray into China was modest, but two-way trade had already doubled between 1978 and 1980. Through the 1980s to early 90s, which brought ups and downs in both the political and economic relationships, the Council built a long-term synergistic relationship with the Government of Canada. The CCBC team's inside knowledge of how to operate effectively in China proved critical to helping members surmount the many barriers to market entry. Our activities created a bilateral bridge that allowed engagement through good times and bad. Fast forward to the 1990s, Canadian cultural icon Da Shan took China by storm, and the Council adopted a new name, the Canada-China Business Council. The following year saw the birth of the Team Canada mission, the first of which took place under the leadership of Prime Minister Jean Chrétien, in concert with the CCBC's 14th AGM in Beijing. Through the 1990s, CCBC offered strategic counsel, knowledge, and connections needed to succeed in the China market. At the same time, CCBC continued to facilitate conversations between government and business leaders to address the critical and at times challenging issues shaping our trade relationship. By the time the world ushered in the new millennium and shook off unrealized fears of Y2K computer meltdowns, Canada's attitude toward China had shifted fully into our present-day, open-for-business chapter. With China's accession to the WTO in 2001, the era of globalization was in full swing, and this brought even more trade and investment in both directions. While bilateral relations again saw ups and downs in the mid-2000s, CCBC's members continued investing and growing their China operations. And CCBC evolved with them, adding new services and a business incubation platform to make it easier for companies just entering China, especially SMEs. Today, Canada trades more than $95 billion with China annually, with services bringing even more economic vitality to the relationship. The Chinese economy is the second largest in the world and contributes 1/3 of the world's annual growth. Helping Canada benefit from China's growth via exports to and capital investment from China is a key focus for the Council now. For the past 40 years, the Canada-China Business Council has been an integral pillar of bilateral economic relations. With more than 300 members, the majority of whom are SMEs, CCBC stands more committed than ever to fostering a thriving, mutually beneficial, and long-term economic partnership between our two nations. What will the next 40 years look like? If CCBC succeeds, it will bring more and better business between Canada and China, one step, one stride, and one member at a time.